Hey everyone, this is the latest LEGO Batmobile Batman vs. the Joker chase set. I bought this for its retail price of $48 US, 48, and I built its 438 pieces live over on my Twitch channel, where of course you are always welcome and encouraged to join. Just remember, on Twitch you don't subscribe. Subscribing means something different. You just follow. It's the little heart button. We'll look at the figures later as usual, but first I'm going to focus on the main thing that you're paying for here, the build. Now this is very, very similar to the Batmobile, the 1989 Batmobile. That's in the shadow box, the big collector's model that they came out with this year, but it's not identical. So folks who buy the big expensive set do end up getting something that's essentially exclusive to that set, although it just uses, mostly regular pieces. I don't think it has any exclusive pieces, but it is a different build to this. And I think that's a good compromise. It allows people who just want the Batmobile to get something for way, way less, but it allows folks who do spend the extra money to get something that's a little bit extra special. Now, this is also different from the gift with purchase 89 Batman that they released in conjunction with the large scale one, the large scale 89 Batman. You can see that immediately once you look around the sides. I think it's the most recognizable difference is that this one does not use the barrels, the gray barrels for the intakes there for the scoops. I don't know exactly what those do there on the side, supposedly in universe. It's not a particularly based creation, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, that one remains different as well, which I think also makes sense. But this one does kind of move the bar a bit. I would say this one is a pretty significant build. It has quite a lot going on with it. You've got some drum lacquered pieces inside of there, as well as the molded silver parts. It's a significant thing to put together. It's not quick. You really feel not only the volume of pieces, the number of pieces, not just the mass. So this thing is pretty solid, pretty heavy, but it has some interesting and unexpected build techniques, some interesting unexpected ways that things go together to make all the mechanisms and stuff work. One of the major mechanisms here is the spinning of the flame at the back. So that spins up. Of course, the faster you roll this around on the ground, the more you're able to see that properly spin, and it starts to look a little bit more alive. There's no differential in here, so these are always both powering it, or vice versa if you want to do something like that. But with real rubber tires, this definitely sticks against the ground. It's something that I always talk about. I like that feeling. I like the feeling that it has real traction, but at the same time, when you start to get to a larger vehicle like this, when you want to turn, it's on a smooth surface, a hard surface, you're gonna have that going on with it. So it's a little bit of a conflict there. What I like versus what might be best for play. Another feature is this here with the knob. Now it's unfortunate the knob is super, super obvious. It is black on black, so from some angles, depending upon how the light hits it, you might just see it as greebling, but if you see its physical presence there set against a background, you're really going to notice it. But this does an excellent thing. It does this. Yeah, these pop off. They're attached with one single stud each only, so they're easy to reset, and then the guns come out. And they don't actually shoot, and that's fine. They're relatively compact, but look how much space has to be reserved on the inside of this thing in order for those to be accommodated. All that movement. It's quite a range. So all that space had to be reserved, and there still had to be enough strength front to back to keep this thing together. And this is super easy to reset with just one piece each side. They are not assemblies or anything, so that's actually quite smart. Back here, that's a sticker on the back, you've got a trunk or a boot. And it's able to hold on to some bat tools, some bat accessories. I've got the Batarang there and a pair of handcuffs in black because they didn't have very, very dark gray for them. Useful. There's also one other accessory that's in the hand of the minifigure right now that you can use with that. And then, of course, the top comes up. You get access to the interior. I like the build of the greenhouse here with the relatively new, small, curved windscreen piece, a little bit of studs on the side construction. They use a wheel to represent the steering wheel, an actual wheel, to give you a different thing, a different texture, a different look. Stickers are used for the consoles, front, side, Other side, all unique pieces, or unique designs rather, and the figure goes in there pretty easily. They use the soft style of cape, so you don't have to worry about it getting crinkled up too much. And he just kind of sits there. And then when you want to take him out, I guess you can grab him from the head. That's okay. And if your fingers are smaller, it works better. But an easier thing to do is just do that. Yeah, so that's convenient enough. No studs actually attached to him, so that keeps it nice and comfy. And also, there's enough depth here that the figure does not need to be leaning all the way back. See, he's leaning back a bit, but not all the way. It's convincing enough, feels believable enough to me. And then you can put this on there and it will fit all the way, no issues with clearance. And then here's a look at the figures. Again, 89, so Keaton, Batman, and then Jack Nicholson, Joker. The quality of printing between these two, I think, is pretty good, but you're not getting a whole lot of it, right? You're only getting the torso print, and that's it. Torso and face, of course. It's the most modern version of the Batman cape, or excuse me, Batman cowl, with actually pretty good sculpting. I haven't really looked at that sculpting closely before, but I like the brows on it, and it has the white in there. And this weapon or accessory is something that I was really tripping about. I really couldn't understand it, but this is from a specific scene where he points it directly at the head, at the face of the Joker, and then he pulls the trigger and it flips open, and then it creates a zip line firing off in two different directions. It's a specialized, one of his specialized toys, specialized gadgets, and honestly, this just doesn't capture that object for me, especially since the little bolt there is only facing in one direction. It was really confusing to me. I get what they're going for now after going back and seeing the scene, but yeah, that's a real stretch. It's a real stretch. Also, the one in the movie was a real stretch because he fires it goes off in different angles than he's holding it at, and then it defies the laws of physics and geometry by actually lifting him up. Really bizarre. But here's what the face looks like framed the other way. Yeah, it works. This is dual molded if you haven't seen this before. White on the inside, so the white is truly white right there. And then you don't have to have the headband on them. The spares include a couple of the black bat accessories, and the sticker sheet is modest. What's not modest though is the price. Again, it's $48 US, 48 euros, 43 pounds UK, $60 Canadian, which equates to approximately 45 US. And though the folks who only look at price to part ratio as if that means everything, as if a 1x1 stud piece has the same value as a 24 by 40 boat hull or a giant plate or something, we'll look at this and say, well, it's close enough to the magical 10-cent price to part ratio that is just that. It's just magic. I look at this amount of stuff and I just don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I would like this to be 30 to 35. Is that unreasonable? Maybe at the 30 end is a little bit unreasonable because there is quite a lot of stuff here. Like I said, the build, when you build it, you feel it. You get a sense that this was an advanced design, not easy to figure out, and is well executed. But this is pushing almost $50 US. And it doesn't feel like enough to me personally. So I'm glad that this is on the market. I'm glad that there's such a range. You've got a 4 Plus Batmobile. You got this. You got one in the big collector's rich person set to put into a bunker and have yourself blurred out in the background. The range is great. The designs are good. The figures, I'd say for this to be $50, to be worth $50 or the 48, to me, it would need to be presented as a premium collectible set, and it's not. It's an 8+ set, and I'm glad that it's an 8+ set. But to reach the value, I would need to see a lot more going on with these figures, honestly, and a stand or a plaque or some sort of side build, some sort of plinth, something to, or even at least for the figures, something to make this really, really fancy, and an exclusive, nice little print or something would be, as a standalone thing, would be real nice to, mention the movie. But as it is right now, as primarily a toy, a very good toy, it's just not priced like a toy, in my opinion. But those are my thoughts for now. If you find this on a good discount, then hey, you're getting a good thing. If you think that I'm being unreasonable and that this looks like a good deal to you, well, if you buy it and you're happy with the value, I think you'll be happy with the kit itself. Because again, it's a serious build. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.